Good morning, good morning. You are listening to KSFS Radio San Francisco. KSFS is proudly brought to you by the Department of Broadcast and Electronic Communication Arts here at San Francisco State University. Some rights reserved under the Creative Commons license. Okay, good morning, everyone. You are listening to Grief Support Group. I'm your host, Alex Piscatelli. For some reason, I'm standing right now. I don't know why. I'm gonna take a seat. Like the Labubus that are the take a seat Labubus. Anyway, that's beside the point. Okay, so today, I'm really excited, but you are joining Grief Support Group, where I talk all things pop culture, my research on grief and media, and answer your advice questions. We have some good ones coming today. I think it's going to be a good show. This is the second to last show of the year. There's going to be more to come next year. I promise you that. But I was just thinking about this because I did run late today, once again. It is something, once again, it's God's plan. If I'm the one running late, it's not me. It's a higher good choosing that for me, okay? But when I'm on time, it's all me. So I do believe that I will have a later show next semester. I think I want to do that. However, I haven't given up the, idea or the notion, I refuse to give it up the idea that I am a morning person. I do think it's something, I've said it before, the morning time is the best time of the day. I love being awake in the morning. I love being up and about in the morning. I love driving and just being like, oh my God, the sun is beaming down. It's me on the road with a bunch of other commuters, I think that's fun. There's something beautiful in that. Nighttime? I don't like nighttime. I do like it, but I don't like it as much as morning. But I don't think I'm a morning person. And the thing is, I was in my car and I was like, I remembered everything. I didn't have to run back in for my coffee, unlike last week. Got that in my bag. I was totally prepared, ate my oatmeal. It was great. But then I'm in my car and I'm like, okay, did I put on deodorant? And the truth of the matter is that that's actually the worst thought one could have, because sweating is psychological. And I think I can say this because I have hyperhidrosis. As someone who sweats all the time, I can sit in my home and just sweat. That's of course occurring. But when I'm taking a Scantron test, which I haven't done in 9 years, but when I'm taking a Scantron test, I am sweating more than I would be just sitting at home. It's very much it's a very lizard brain thing, but it's also very psychological, whatever. So the second you have the thought, did I put on deodorant? You're dead. You're done. It's almost better to have not applied deodorant and think that you did than to have applied it and be like, wait, did I? I'm pretty sure I did. It's very subconscious. Of course I'm going to be applying deodorant. There's no world in which I would forget to apply my deodorant. Stranger things have happened. So anyway, I had that thought. I'm trying to just let it pass me by. I'm trying to know that my thoughts do not mean anything. They're just thoughts. They can pass by. It doesn't mean I didn't put on my deodorant. I'm just trying to let that thought pass by. Okay. Anyway, we have a great show for you all today. I'm going to be discussing the holidays a little bit in this intro, and reflection on the holidays. And then I have an exciting thesis update. But I'm going to be talking about Survivor, and specifically grief this season on Survivor, because I actually have a lot to say. Then we have 2 advice questions coming down the pike. They're very interesting. I'm actually quite excited to unpack these. The first one is about not getting along with classmates, which I have much to say. And the second one is about a partner going through something traumatic. And this advice, I try to be really nice for these advice questions. This advice question, and the way this person phrased it, I wrote no offense a couple of times on my notes for answering it. So we'll get to that. It's going to be great. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about this time of year. I'm thinking about the semester as a whole, but I think I'm thinking more about the holidays. I don't know. I was in the car. I was okay, because yesterday was my last day teaching this semester. I had my final class, and I still have to grade and all that. So I'm still an instructor right now. But it was my last class in person with the class I taught. And yeah, I don't know. It was really nice because I think people were saying really nice things, like telling me that it was their favorite class of the semester and like that they enjoyed having me as an instructor and stuff. So I found that really cool. But I don't know, it's like one of those things where like I feel so in the motions of like the busyness of the semester that I haven't like taken a moment to like think about it. It's so funny because actually maybe next episode I'll go through this more, but I did I always do New Year's goals, like always have. I love setting a goal. If there's one thing about me, I love setting a goal, okay? I love a goal. And so I had written a bunch of goals earlier in the year, or maybe end of December last year. And it's really funny because the ones, I wanted to teach a class, and I didn't know there would be opportunities this year in my program to teach a class, and then it just happened. So I'm like, that is kind of the power of manifestation. And the truth of the matter is that I think like sometimes you get just like gut feelings about things, and I try to separate my intuition, because I'm psychic, by the way, with like my anxiety, because sometimes my anxiety is like, oh, I think that I don't know what's gonna happen, but I think my intuition can like she's on it. Like, actually, this is a side note, but I was telling one of my friends that I'm going to keep everything anonymous, that they were going to hook up with someone. And I said that it would happen next July. And I know it to be true. It's just like a deep down gut instinct. And you get those. I think everyone gets those. I think some people can just like listen to it and channel it more, but I genuinely think a lot of people get those deep down gut intuitive feelings. And I think it's just like you have like a energy pull. Like, I don't think there's whatever, this isn't a religious podcast, but I don't believe in like predetermination, except when I'm running late. But I don't believe in that. I don't believe like things happen for a reason or whatever. I think it's like everything's chaos, and then like the things that do happen, it's like so beautiful because like that's what comes together. But I think there's like energy, like whatever, because energy is not created nor destroyed. I think energy like pulls you to certain things and whatever in this chaotic universe. And so yeah, I think everyone has those intuitive hits, but like I have them more and like better, you know what I mean? But anyway, I think I've just been reflecting. I think it's been a really cool year, and I think I'll reflect on it more next episode. But I wanted to talk about the holidays a little bit, because I think like when you are grieving, or I guess for anyone really, but I think particularly for grief support group, I want to talk about the grief of it all. I think when you're grieving the loss or the death of loved ones, or like how holidays used to be in a before time, you know what I mean? I think it can be especially hard, and like the holidays have been hard for me, I think, since my dad died. I know since my dad died, because it's looked so different since then, right? Because like the first 16 years of my life, the holidays looked the same, where it was so full of joy and so full of family, and like me and my dad loved the holidays. I think one of my favorite memories, and I was thinking about this recently, is that like, because we love the holidays, one thing, he always had those like toy trains that like actually went on the tracks, you know what I mean, and like would go around the Christmas tree. I used to stare at those for hours. Like we always put our Christmas tree in the same room, and it was where like we had a pool table too, which one day when I get a house, hopefully, I would love to get a pool table again. I feel like it's so funky. Like, I love a pool table. I'm not even going to use it. I just want to like, I don't know. I want it there. You know what I mean? But actually, I would use it. I would like to practice so I could be really good. But it's one of those things that like, if you're not that good at it, you have to be like, oh, I never play. You know what I mean? But if you're not good and you like practice often, it's a little like, that's one of those sports where it's a little like, okay, like maybe practice a little more, or maybe like don't admit that. But we would set up the train to go around like the tree and the pool table, and I would sit under the pool table literally for hours. It was like my little cave, and I would like just watch the train. I loved it. And he had like a bunch of pieces for it. But like, I used to tell him when I was little, I'd be like, when I grow up and have a house, I am going to have my Christmas tree up year round. I'm going to decorate it for each holiday. It's going to be great. And he was like, oh, I love that. Yeah. And yeah, so I don't know. I think about that and I feel like one day, again, I'm trying to manifest a home, I guess. But one day when I have a home, like, I don't know, like, it's a lot to have a tree inside the house outside of the holiday season. But like, I feel like year round, I would love like a Christmas tree, like tree outside and like to decorate that year round. I feel like that'd be really cute. It's just hard because me and my husband Jack both do not have green thumbs. So it's like, who's the admin of it all? Like, I really need to like make it look cute. I can't be the one watering it. I need to be the one admiring it. And unfortunately Jack says he has a green thumb and yet all our plants die. So I don't know what that's about. But anyways, so yeah, and just like, we would be the first household to put up a Christmas tree. Like, we would do it November 1st after Halloween. We used to get like a little pine tree from our front yard because we had like a little, I don't know if it was a pine tree, but it was little trees. And we'd cut it down and it'd be completely sparse. Like, it was not a full tree at all in any sense. It would be like a Charlie Brown tree and we would decorate it. And that's what that's what the holidays are to me. It's like that kind of like family, like traditions and like not looking like picture perfect. Like, I don't know, I just miss that a lot. So I feel like holidays have always looked different since he died. And like, for me, I think too, like, and not saying like me, it's worse for me than other people. I'm saying for my own like calendar year, the holidays are the hardest time too, because my dad died December 17th and then my mom died January 31st, but like, we found out her cancer was terminal like on December 17th. So it's just like a whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, this time of year is just a whole thing. But it's weird because I think for the first time in literally 12 years, I feel okay. And I think that could change at the drop of any moment. And even if this whole year I feel okay, I know it could not be that way in years forward. But I'm trying to revel in that. I was thinking about this because I talked to myself on my car ride, like coming to the radio station. I think that, I don't know, like I was thinking about like the word healing or like healed. And I hate that because to me, to be like, oh, I'm healed, again, it implies an end. It implies like it's a past tense, like I'm healed, which I don't think anyone can be healed, maybe from like a temporary wound. But as we know, like grief and loss from death and other losses too, but in particular, we're talking about death, like I don't think you can reach that past tense. Healed is in the past. But maybe healing is the right word. Maybe I'm healing. I don't know. It's an interesting place to be. Like I've been telling Jack, I'm like, I like celebrating this year. Like, there were times, and there's still some things that in particular that trigger me, like certain Christmas songs or whatever. But like, I feel like, and now I can listen to some of the songs. Like I was obsessed with the Michael Bublé album before my dad died. Like, when I first could drive, I was listening to that in the car, like literally from October through the holidays. And I like used to put the like reindeer antlers and the nose on my car, but like I stopped doing that because it just felt, I don't know, I stopped doing it after my dad died. But yeah, I don't know, it's like even stuff like that, I'm like, wait, should I get some reindeer antlers? Like I'm feeling good. Maybe it's a healing, I don't know what it is, but it feels good. But one memory in particular that I also wanted to bring up, so I was thinking about it and I'm like, just one more like memory about like my mom in the holidays. I was thinking about how like you find out Santa's not real. I hope no kids are listening to this. I surely hope not. I feel like I play very explicit music. But I think about how kids find out Santa's not real, like what, like elementary school, right? And like people thought, because I found out at like 7 or 8, and people thought my cousin, who was 3 years older than me, told me. And I'm like, no, first of all, I have critical thinking and intuitive skills, very skilled here. And I I noticed Santa had my mom's handwriting. Okay. And like, what are the odds? I noticed it. It's just something I'm noticing. And I was like 6 or 7. I was like 7 when I noticed that. I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know. The odds of that seem really, really rare. And then that particular year, like, I was really getting into Care Bears. I love Care Bears, by the way. Like, no one loves Care Bears more than me. And the fact of the matter is Care Bears are starting to come back, and I'm noticing. And just know who the biggest fan is, me. But anyway, I loved Care Bears. At one point, I had a very substantial collection of shirts, necklaces from Claire's, etc. But before I had gotten one, I really wanted Wish Bear. Like, I really wanted a stuffed animal Wish Bear, and I asked for it from Santa when I was like 7, I think. And Santa, to his credit, her credit, I didn't get a Care Bear because they were sold out. That's fine. Santa gave me a very lovely, like, Hello Kitty leopard, like, so posh. I loved her. But Santa said in a note, in my mom's handwriting, mind you, that the store was sold out of Care Bears, which that's fine. That's so valid. Like, I wasn't mad. I got it. And I loved my posh Hello Kitty. Loved her. But I was like, I do feel like Santa could pull some more strings. I do feel like that shouldn't be a barrier for Santa. And again, if it's my parents, that's fine. Like, I get it. I'll get a Care Bear at a later date. And I did. I totally understand. And I, again, so grateful for my Hello Kitty. But I do feel like Santa could have made it work. So I think there were just many factors. And again, I had the critical thinking skills at 7 to address this. Anyway, and then once I knew Santa was like my mom, she would sign packages with the big S for the big Santa, the big S, you know, his DJ name. And yeah, I just loved it. And also, if my mom saw a Santa out and about, like, she would take a photo with him. It was no doubt. Like, in December, I would get a text from my mom, and it's a photo of her with Santa. So I was just thinking of these happy holiday memories, and that's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Okay, we have a lot to get to, and I talked way longer than expected, but let's take a little bit of a music break, and then we'll get right into our thesis update, survivor talk, and advice questions. See you soon. Okay, welcome back to Grief Support Group. I'm your host, Alex Piscatelli, and I was just taking selfies, so I didn't know the song was about to end. But we're good. We're back. We made it. Okay, so we are in the part of the show now where I do a little bit of a thesis update, and then I talk a little bit about grief and media. So I am going to talk about my thesis. It's a quick but great update, okay? And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Survivor, just a little bit, because I have some crazy advice questions to get to. They're not that crazy. I don't know. I just had that one is really interesting. They're both interesting. One is crazier. Okay. So my thesis is officially defended. Yes. Last week you heard me say I am defending, and now it is defended. So yeah, it feels so good. I can't believe I did it. So I'm technically essentially halfway done with my thesis. It is with this like research review board situation right now, because I'm working with human subjects, because I'm doing interviews, and again, I'm looking at how fans of teen dramas understand and interpret grief. So it's going to be great. But yeah, we'll see like how fast I get the approvals, and then I'll get started on recruiting participants and doing the whole thing. I can't wait. This is crazy. But yeah, the defense like went really well. I was very anxious, but it went well, and we're here. And yeah, I'm certain more updates in the new year. So I can't wait for that. But okay, let's jump right into grief on Survivor this season. So for those who aren't aware, I am a huge Survivor fan. And I was actually talking about this with friends this weekend, like about like the word nerd. Because I'm like, do you guys consider yourselves nerds? And like everyone said no, including my husband. And I was like, really? Because I feel like you are. But I feel like I think everyone's nerdy about something. For me, it's Survivor. Like, I listen to podcasts about it. I now not so much, because there's like now 49 seasons. But when we were at season like 40 and I was like a little more into it than I am right now, or I should say not more into it, but I was dedicating more time to like listening to podcasts. Now I certainly listen to a lot of them throughout the week, but I'm not listening to like them all, you know what I mean? But back then I could probably still name every winner actually. I couldn't name, like, there's people who can name like the first boot on every season. Like, there's people who can name all like 700 plus contestants. That's not me. But like, I could name what each season was and who won it. Easier than I could name all 50 states, I think, which is kind of insane. I think I could name all 50 states, but try doing it in under 5 minutes. Like, that actually gets kind of hard. But I could do all 49 Survivor winners in, well, 48, because 49 hasn't ended. Anyway, so that being said, we are on season 49. And why I love Survivor is because I think there's a lot to talk about. First of all, it's a very social game. The game has evolved to be very strategic. It's very social. You're sort of getting like a microcosm into society because you're pulling people from, you know, all parts of America and now Canada. They have some Canadian contestants as of the past like 10 seasons. But yeah, it's just interesting what comes up in the social dynamics that emerge in this show. However, what I will say, and I presented about Survivor, like I did research on it and presented over the summer, and I talked about how Survivor, especially in the new era, has allowed for more stories, like more stories of grief and race and gender and identity to come up on the show. So I think in many ways they are doing a good job. However, there's ways that they're not doing a good job. And I think, I'm so sorry, Jeff Probst, I think you're done. And I say this as someone who 10 years ago, I would have never said that. Even like 3 years ago, I would have never said that. I think Jeff used to make the show. Now I think he's kind of breaking it a little. I think in the past 2 seasons, we've really seen him be so self-referential and like, I don't know, like trying to make moments happen when they're not happening. Not to sound like Regina George, but like, okay. And so one particular thing I wanted to talk about, and I think the show is not doing her justice at all. Like, I think I'm very frustrated with the way that they are showcasing her. Because one thing I will say about Survivor is it's a very edited show. And I don't mean to say that like they're making things up or making storylines up, but what you have to think about is there's 18 contestants, at least in the last few seasons. And there's however many weeks, 11 weeks of the show. And you have to tell the story of how the winner won the game. But then each episode, you have to tell the story of how that person got voted out, right? And so like a lot can be left out and is left out. Obviously, the winner or people who make it further in the game are going to get more substantial edits than other people. However, what I find frustration with, so there's a woman this season on the show named Christina. And in maybe the second or third episode, and you find out this if you are a nerd like me and like watching the preseason press that they do, like, you know, part of her story is her mom died 3 years ago. And so she talks about that. Of course, she talks about how close she was with her mom. And it comes up in, I think, the third-ish episode of this season where she's talking about her mom. The problem is that they don't show anything else about her. I literally know nothing else about her. Okay. So, not last week's episode, but the week before, they had this moment where, and they like included her crying in the previews. So we were like, what's about to happen? Right. And so they're about to do a challenge, and she's someone who is like always smiling, like on every other moment of the show, but in this particular beginning of the challenge, she was like not smiling. She was like upset. And Jeff was like, Christina, what's wrong? But like we had gotten shots of her at camp talking with another contestant about her grief and how she's like really feeling it heavy in that particular day and really struggling with it. So like Jeff obviously knows that's what's going on, right? And we already had that moment in camp. Like, why not use that for the show or like expand on that? But instead, at the challenge, she's visibly upset and Jeff goes, "What's wrong?" And she kind of had this moment where she like yells out and she's like, "It's not fair. Like, I miss my mom. Like, it's just not fair." And so Jeff kind of like continues poking at this moment. And I think other people could think he did this well, because there was a question in particular he asked where he's like, "Tell me about her," which I think is a really great question to ask someone who is grieving someone, right? And so I did like that question. However, I found it to be so obvious that they were trying to have this moment, like Jeff even bringing it up before a challenge. Like, why even do that? It was so obvious they were like kind of poking at her and trying to have a moment from her. And I thought it was a very, like there was also, they kind of edited the sound before she kind of exclaimed, like, "It's not fair. Like, I miss my mom." Like, she exclaimed that. And there was this moment before she said that where like it was almost editing it from her point of view, where like the sound around her was getting muffled and it was like you were in her head and she would like, it was kind of like a tea kettle about to boil kind of sound. And then like the eruption happens of her saying, "I miss my mom. It's not fair." And I really hated that editing because it felt very manufactured, and it's like they have no way of knowing what was going on in her head. Like, why are they trying to pretend like, and she didn't even necessarily have an outburst. It was like she was being poked and prodded by Jeff Probst. Like, yeah, like, of course that's, you know what I mean? Like, I just found it to be a really weird portrayal of grief because her grief is very real, but the way they edited it and the way Jeff was inquiring about it felt so manufactured to me. And not only that, but like I said, her main storyline on the show has been about her loss. And I'm saying this not because I think it's true, but I think it's how the show is portraying it. But it's almost reading as if she's not ready to be on this show and she's not like in a good place with her grief to be on this show, which I don't think is true. I think the reason why it's coming across that way is because that's been the only part of her story. If you're able to see the more parts of her personality and more nuances there and more ways she's like organically discussing her mom and her relationship to her mom and her relationship to her grief, rather than it being in these very manufactured moments, I don't think you would think any certain way. You know what I mean? But I think the fact that we only see these, what it ended up being portrayed as an outburst. It ended up being portrayed as like a tea kettle coming to a boil, in her exclaiming her grief. And I had a problem with that. I did not like that. And I love Survivor, but Jeff has been pissing me off. Okay. And Survivor, the show, has been pissing me off. And last thing I will say before we get into a music break and do our advice questions is that I think if the show season 50 is going to be an all returner season, but if 51 is some of the same, I can't cuss on here, but SHIT, like I'm done. I feel like it's going to be annoying. And I say this as a longtime fan. Okay, now let's get into a little music break and then we'll get into our advice questions. Welcome back to Grief Support Group. Oh, I forgot to say what songs you listen to. So that was just Ensalada from the new Freddie Gibbs album, which some of my students in my class and then also my husband put me on. And then the first song was Church by Jade, which her new like second part of her album, Encore album, just came out. Church is the best song from it. Oh my God, I love that song so much. I was like dancing in here and that's why I was taking selfies too and distracted. Anyway, okay, so let's get into our first advice question. And just wanted to say, if you want to ask a question for a future episode, you can do so at bit.ly/KSFS advice. Okay, so this first one, which I find very funny. I don't know. They said, how do you tell your classmates that they are not a vibe when you're stuck with them for the next 2 years? I don't know for sure, but I feel like just the fact that they said 2 years, I'm like, is this a grad student? Because that's really funny. Okay, so here's the truth of the matter is that you're not going to like everyone, you know what I mean? And especially in a class. Okay. This is like so simplistic and it probably has nothing to do with this, but I'm just going to say it anyway. My dad used to say, and I don't know the origin of this quote, so I always just say from like the philosopher, my dad. I've actually never said that. I don't know why I just said that. But anyway, so the saying is that if there's 10 people, well, this is like everyone, you know what I mean? But like breaking down the ratio. Okay. Out of 10 people, 6 out of 10 are going to love you. Like no matter what, like 6 out of 10 or wait. No, sorry. That's so wrong. Okay. Out of 10 people, 2 out of 10 are going to love you. Like your personality is going to jibe with 2 out of 10 people. Like they're going to love you no matter what. 2 out of 10 people are going to hate you. No matter what you do, they're not going to like you. It's just, that's what it is. And then the other 6 can go either way, just depending on whatever, like factors, like location, who you are, all these things, right? So, if you're in a grad cohort, I have no idea how big yours is, and I don't even know if this is a grad cohort, I'm just assuming, but if you're in some sort of program, my grad cohort's like 9 people. So yeah, there's going to be 2 out of those that you're immediately going to get along with, 2 that you're immediately not going to jibe with, and the rest can go either way. I think the thing that sucks is that with classmates, like people who you have a common interest with, like you're in this program for some reason, right? And you want to be getting along with people from this program because you have that some reason in common. But I think that just is not realistic. And I think it's really important to think about classmates like coworkers, right? And I think the thing with coworkers, with people that, I mean, yeah, part-time jobs, but I think I'm specifically talking about like 40-hour-a-week coworkers, right? Some of those coworkers are going to be great. You're going to form real friendships and hang out outside of work, or even hang out like once you leave the job and you're still friends, right? Not always, but like, yeah, sometimes you do. Some coworkers are circumstantial friends. Like you get along at work, you gossip, you know what I mean? Like maybe you gossip about, like maybe you know about their personal life a little bit, but nothing crazy. Like you're not getting them a gift for the holidays. Like they're just a coworker, but like you vibe. Yeah. And then some are enemies, okay? And that's a good ecosystem to have. Like you want some enemies. And let me tell you this. I have this theory called the arch nemesis theory, okay? And what it is that life is in equilibrium when you have an arch nemesis. And I think that's the thing I'm missing. I don't have an arch nemesis right now, but it's really important in like a workplace or school or whatever, what have you, wherever you spend the majority of your, like, say, professional time. Or I guess you could have an arch nemesis in the neighborhood as well. Like there's different. I wouldn't want an arch nemesis in the neighborhood. That just feels like a recipe for, I want to wave to my neighbors and that's about it. Like I don't want anything more than that. Anyway, I'm steering off, but arch nemesis theory is that this theory that I have coined, not officially, but I hope I'm the only one who says it. I don't know. Arch nemesis theory is that you have an arch nemesis, and what an arch nemesis constitutes is like you both equally find each other to be arch nemeses, where like they are a competitor for you. You are a competitor for them. Like in your work or in your schoolwork or whatever, like you two are beefing. Like think Davy and Ben from Never Have I Ever, right? Except they got together romantically and ruined the equilibrium. Like, don't even get me started. But like, you should not have romantic interest in your arch nemesis. You should not like actually be friends with them or anything. You should be friendly. Like it should be friendly competition. They shouldn't want you to die or anything like that. But I'm telling you, like life is good when you have someone like this, where you respect each other. It's all respect at the end of the day, and you make each other better because you're competing against each other in a way. I don't have one of these. I really would like one. And it sucks because it sounds like your classmates are not a vibe is what you're saying. It sounds like that's literally verbatim what you said. But I would try to look at it and try to see if one of them could finagle into being a arch nemesis. I think it's really important to have these arch nemesis. I think even if you don't fully respect them, even have like an inkling of an arch nemesis, I think it's better to have an arch nemesis and a nemesis than to have a hater. You know what I mean? And I think if you can turn a hater into an arch nemesis, that's where magic happens. And so that's what I'd recommend it to you. Think about it like you're on a TV show. That's the other thing. I think when people are really weird around me, I just pretend like it's a sitcom or like a reality TV show. And I'm like, what, like I'm navigating this as the main character. Like, how can I respond? And I genuinely think that is helpful. So again, you don't have to get along with everyone. I know it feels like you do because if you're in a grad program, which I think you are because you said 2 years, it feels like everyone should get along and you should rely on each other and all these things, which obviously is the ideal. But I think as long as you have like an ally or two and everyone else, you can try to finagle into, am I even saying that word right? But you can try to turn them into nemesis of sorts. I think that's the best way to do it. Yeah, because it doesn't have to be all synergy. Like sometimes some of the fun and some of the competitiveness can come when you don't necessarily get along with everyone. So I hope that's helpful. It's definitely like taking a fictional spin on reality, but I think sometimes that's what you have to do to have fun with a situation. So good luck with it. I wish you all the luck. Okay, so we have one more advice question, but first we'll take a little bit of a music break. Okay, welcome back to Grief Support Group. You just heard Drummer Boy by Justin Bieber, and the truth of the matter is that's one of my favorite holiday songs, like of all time. I hear it and I start dancing. I can't help it. And the end of the song, I had to cut it short because we're running out of time. But just look at the lyrics. I just love it. It's so funny. Okay, so advice question number 2. This person said, my partner went through something traumatic, and since then he has been very distant from me. I have offered to help him, but he barely speaks to me, and he seems extremely guilty. I don't know if it's him that doesn't want to be around me or his family doesn't want him around me. I am sad. Please help. I miss his cat. And okay, I'm so sorry. I'm going to be really hard on this listener. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry because I know you're submitting this and you're thinking I'm going to be really helpful and nice. But my first thing I wrote is no offense, but what did you do? Like, what do you mean your partner went through something traumatic? You've offered to help. He barely speaks to you. He seems guilty. You don't know if it's him that doesn't want to be around you or his family that doesn't want that. Like, were you involved? Like, what do you mean? Like, I feel like I don't have enough details to give an accurate answer to this. But I want to know the ways in which you offered to help him, because I feel like I would implore, and again, I don't know, I would implore maybe you're not doing enough to help or like being empathetic enough. I don't know. I'm curious as to why he feels guilty. I don't know. I don't have enough context to understand that. And then you said you don't know if it's him that doesn't want to be around you or his family doesn't want that. What is going on? Like, was this an event that happened to his family? Like, why would they not want you to be around? I'm like really confused. I feel like I hear that you're sad and I hear that you want help and I hear that you miss his cat. Like, do you miss him? Like, do you miss his family? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I'm sorry. I wrote his cat. What about him? And I said, I can't tell if you're not giving details because you were involved. Like, I'm really confused. But I hope you're doing okay. I think, he's been distant, but like he's going through something. So, keep being there for him. Don't let up on it. Like, and be there for him in ways that he normally likes someone to be there, right? Like if he is someone, like I hate to be like, oh, like the acts of, or not acts of, what is it called? The languages of love, right? Like if he is someone who, yeah, is an acts of service person, like maybe bring him dinner or help, I don't know, like get him gas or something like that. Or I don't know if he lives with family when you said his family doesn't want him to be around, but like offer to help, I don't know, tidy up his room or something. You know what I mean? Like something, I'm not an acts of service person, so I have no idea what this entails. But yeah, like something like that. Or if he's a gift person, like bring flowers or bring like a treat or something. If he's words of affirmation, like be there for him. Check in with him every day. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm wondering how you've offered to help him exactly. Why does their family not want you around? I feel like I need more details. If you give me more details for a future episode, I promise to not be as harsh. But I think the best thing you can do is continue to be there for him. If he's barely speaking to you and seems guilty, he obviously has a lot going on. I mean, unless it's literally about you. I don't think it's about you. I think it's what he's experiencing, what he's going through. So continue to be there for him. Don't let up on it. Check in on him. And yeah, if there's a point where he's still not giving you anything and it's been a while, your needs are valid too. And I think you guys should at that point have a conversation about how to move forward. But as for right now, I think be there for him, and understand that right now might be different than how your normal dynamic is. So good luck with it, but either give me more detail or like, I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I'm so sorry. I hope this isn't offensive. That's why I wrote no offense. I was like, I had to make sure to not be like rude, but please either give me more detail or I don't know. But yeah, I hope you're being there for him. And if anyone has advice for a future show, I swear I won't be mean about it. Do so at bit.ly/KSFS advice. And you have just listened to another episode of Grief Support Group. I'm your host, Alex Fiscatelli, and I will see you next week. Bye.